1. Jing Yuan, the CEO, was known for his sharp decisions and relentless drive for success. But behind his strong image, few knew he was adopted by the Guo family from an orphanage. In just 7 years, he rose from the bottom to become Vice General Manager of Guo Share Group. At the company's annual ceremony, he gave a speech on behalf of the chairman, thanking shareholders and employees. Many believed he was ready to take over the group. But the celebration took an unexpected turn when the chairman arrived with his biological granddaughter, Xiao Yun. She politely greeted her uncle, but this was not their first meeting. A month earlier, Xiao Yun had been studying music in Germany, dreaming of becoming a violinist. Her life seemed peaceful until tragedy struck. On the day of her violin competition, she waited excitedly for her parents to arrive, only to hear a crash over the phone. Rushing to the scene, she saw their car in flames. Someone had triggered an explosion. Within hours, the pampered girl who once had everything became an orphan. Crying in her best friend Hanmi's arms, she was later told by Chairman Chong Fong that he was her grandfather. Years ago, he had opposed her parents' relationship, leading his son to cut ties with the Guo family. Now, after searching for years, he found his granddaughter, but too late to reunite the family. Xiao Yan refused to return with him, saying her father had given her mother's surname and never mentioned the Guo family, proof they didn't wish to go back. Later, at the trust fund, she received her father's last keepsake, a jade model with his name engraved. But before she could understand its meaning, she was attacked and knocked unconscious. Waking up in the hospital, she realized only the jade model had been stolen. In just a few days, she had lost her parents, been betrayed by fate, and had her only family heirlooms snatched away. Sleepless and in pain, Xiao Yan began to suspect her parents' accident wasn't accidental. Why had her grandfather reappeared right before the tragedy? Why was the model stolen the moment she got it? She remembered her parents' car had just left a repair shop, but police blamed brake failure. She also recalled seeing a scar on her attacker's hand. To make things worse, she received an anonymous letter accusing Jing Yuan of plotting against her parents. Reading his background, she couldn't shake her doubts. Believing the truth lay with the Guo family, Xiao Yan returned to Roman 11 Jiang, arriving just in time for the annual ceremony where her grandfather publicly introduced her as his long-lost granddaughter and heir to the Guo group. Back at the Guo mansion, she asked Jing Yuan if they had met before. He regretted not reuniting her family sooner and gently placed a coat on her, reminding her to get used to Roman 11 Jiang's cold. She smiled, determined to stay. This was her home now. The butler warned her not to enter Jing Yuan's room, which faced hers. Meanwhile, Jing Yuan congratulated his father on finding Xiao Yan, but the chairman revealed his true concern: he owed too much to his late son's family. Now, with only one blood relative left, he wanted to give Xiao Yan everything, even if it meant asking Jing Yuan to protect her and the Guo assets at all costs. The chairman reminded Jing Yuan that as his adopted son, he carried the responsibility of protecting the family. Meanwhile, Xiao Yan secretly entered Jing Yuan's room, but quickly hid when she heard footsteps. Jing Yuan walked in, staring at a photo of himself with his father. To him, no matter how hard he tried, he could never replace true blood relatives. Overcome with anger, he smashed the mirror, and Xiao Yan's scream from the closet gave her away. She awkwardly explained she had gotten lost in the large house, but Jing Yuan didn't believe her excuse. He directly asked what her true reason was for coming back to the Guo family. Xiao Yan insisted she only wanted to reconnect with her relatives, as her parents had left her all alone. When she noticed his bleeding hand, she offered to bandage it despite his protests. She warned him not to act recklessly or hurt himself, no matter how much he felt wronged. Touched, Jing Yuan let her tend to him and then sent her back to her room. Xiao Yan reassured him she had no desire to compete for the Guo shares and would explain everything to their grandfather when the time was right. But when Jing Yuan asked if she knew the value of the company, she replied, "Uncle, money can't bring my parents back. Now only Grandpa and you are my family, so please don't push me away." Though her words seemed sincere, Xiao Yan secretly noticed the scar on his hand, exactly like the one she had seen on the man who stole her father's jade model. The next day at Guof Share, Jing Yuan confronted Vice President Wang about fraudulent projects. Some directors felt his evidence wasn't solid and warned he might lose the support of old employees. Still, Jing Yuan ordered his assistant Lin Jai to demote Wang. Back at the Guof residence, Xiao Yan examined family photos but noticed none from Jing Yuan's birthdays. Chong Fong explained that because Jing Yuan was an orphan, he didn't even remember his birth date. Soon after, Xiao Yan invited her uncle to eat the red bean soup she had made. Though Jing Yuan tried to refuse, his father urged him to accept her gesture. Xiao Yan playfully had him input random numbers into a game app secretly designed by her best friend to capture his fingerprints and unlock the safe in his room. Laughing at his bad luck in the game, she sweetened the moment by offering more soup. Later, she asked her grandfather about a jade model with her father's name. Chong Fong revealed it had been a gift from his late wife, and whoever returned it to the Guof family would inherit 10% of the shares. Hearing this, Xiao Yan suspected Jing Yuan wanted to stop her from gaining her rightful inheritance. That night, in the freezing cold, Jing Yuan recalled the day his father had first brought him home. Despite all the years together, he had never been treated as a true son, only as someone tasked with protecting his niece. As Jing Yuan entered, Xiao Yan suddenly wished him a happy birthday. He shut the door, insisting she had the wrong day. But Xiao Yan had overheard their grandfather mention that his adoption papers didn't include his birth date, so he never celebrated. She declared that the day he joined the Guof family would now be his birthday. Jing Yuan dismissed the idea, but she cheerfully insisted she loved birthdays and wanted him to feel happier. Offering him a glass of wine, she moved closer, only for Jing Yuan to suddenly pull her in and ask, "Haven't you ever suspected me of killing your parents? Half the employees believe it." Xiao Yan calmly replied that the police said it was a brake failure and that she only returned to the Guof family for her relatives. She wished him happy birthday again, and Jing Yuan thanked her, drinking from her glass. But Xiao Yan had prepared in advance. She had drugged her own wine, knowing Jing Yuan would avoid drinking from his. Believing him asleep, she opened his safe using different codes until she tried the date he entered the Guof family, and it worked. Just as she reached for his fingerprint, he grabbed her hand, revealing he had never drunk the wine at all. Jing Yuan admitted he had suspected her from the start, but wanted to see if she was capable of living up to the Guof name. Xiao Yan, frustrated, accused him of being worse than an animal. To her shock, Jing Yuan revealed what was inside the safe, a jade model identical to her father's, but engraved with his name. He explained that every Guof child received one, leaving Xiao Yan disappointed and unsure if he was truly innocent. Still, she decided to push him further. The next day, she deliberately sat in his place beside their grandfather, hoping to provoke him. To her surprise, Jing Yuan gave up the seat willingly, even smiling as he recalled their small birthday celebration. Xiao Yan thought her parents in heaven might be blessing this new bond. Later, she asked to join her uncle on some errands. In the car, she secretly planted a GPS tracker while demanding he take her to the company. Jing Yuan warned her not to interfere with Guof business and dropped her off. Tracking the device, she learned he visited an exclusive club daily, disguised as an employee. Determined to uncover his secrets, she asked someone to distract him and slipped into a private room to set up a hidden camera. Just then, a female guest entered, asking for wine. As Xiao Yan tried to leave unnoticed, Jing Yuan spotted her and felt something familiar. Thinking quickly, she removed her jacket and hugged a male guest, managing to fool her uncle and escape. Grateful, she thanked the stranger for helping her cover. In his room, Jing Yuan listened to his trusted assistant, Guangqing, who reported that many small shareholders supported him in opposing the chairman. She reminded him that he had sacrificed so much for Guof, while Chong Fong had been unfair to him first. What they didn't expect was for Xiao Yian to secretly record a video. Butler Su recalled that Jing Yuan and Guangqing had grown up together in the orphanage, and after joining the Guo family, he brought her along to work with him. Meanwhile, Xiao Yian asked her grandfather to let her join the company, hoping it would help her investigate Jing Yuan more closely. That night, she dreamed of the fire that took her parents and woke up terrified. Just then, Jing Yuan returned her bag, saying he had met someone like her earlier that morning. As he tucked her hair back, he warned her not to let him catch her again. The next day, Chong Fong personally brought his granddaughter to the company and introduced her to Director Chun, a trusted executive who had worked with him for decades. Chun guided Xiao Yuan around and quietly expressed his worry that Jing Yuan would never willingly hand the company to her. But Xiao Yuan believed that as long as her grandfather stood by her, she had nothing to fear. Later, when Jing Yuan's meeting ended, Chun introduced her to the team as the future chairwoman. He suggested giving Xiao Yian real responsibilities, though Guangqing questioned her qualifications and background. Xiao Yian remembered how her grandfather once started at the bottom before rising to vice general manager. She promised she wasn't there to stir up conflict, only to prove herself worthy. At that moment, the chairman walked in and called for a vote to make her CEO. Leading by example, he raised his hand, and the rest followed. Jing Yuan congratulated her, though uneasily. In her new office, Xiao Yian was overwhelmed by piles of financial ledgers. Since she had no finance background, she struggled to understand them. Vice President Wang mocked her politely, saying it would take forever to grasp the 3-year report. Determined, Xiao Yian declared she'd finish in 3 days. That night, she returned home late and found Jing Yuan waiting on the stairs. He asked if she ever felt fear. Xiao Yian admitted she feared the darkness in the house, and even more that the wicked might escape justice. Jing Yuan warned her that Guof's situation was worsening and suggested she step back. But Xiao Yian refused to quit, even if it cost her everything. Soon after, Vice President Wang handed her documents showing Jing Yuan transferred money abroad every month, hinting at embezzlement. Xiao Yian wondered if Wang truly wanted to ally with her against Jing Yuan or if someone else was manipulating him. Still, she pretended to share his goal of exposing her uncle. At the next shareholders' meeting, Xiao Yian arrived late. Butler Su announced the vote for Guof's new CEO. When the ballots were counted, she and Jing Yuan were tied with 3 votes each, while the final shareholder, Mr. Dan, was still overseas on vacation. Jing Yuan announced that Mr. Da had already given him his vote. Director Chun immediately accused him of secretly buying up Guof shares and meeting Mr. Da overseas to take control of the company. Jing Yuan didn't deny acquiring shares, but explained he had done so only because Chun and other shareholders had been short-selling stocks when Xiao Yian returned. If he hadn't bought them at a low price, the company would have faced heavy losses. It turned out that his scene with Guangqing at the bar was just a setup to expose those trying to profit illegally. Meanwhile, Xiao Yian slipped into Jing Yuan's office and tried the password again. To her surprise, it was still the date he first entered the Guo family. Back in the boardroom, Chen accused Jing Yuan of being the company's biggest problem, waiting for Xiao Yian to reveal evidence. Right then, she presented documents proving assets had been transferred abroad. When she asked Chen if he admitted guilt, he nervously tried to shift the blame. Xiao Yian realized he was the one who had sent her the anonymous letter accusing Jing Yuan. The envelope matched the company name in the overseas account. Chen had lured her back to China to use her against her uncle. Shocked, the chairman ordered Butler Su to call the police, but Chen panicked and turned on Vice President Wang instead. He then threatened Xiao Yian, demanding 50 million yuan. Jing Yuan immediately agreed to buy time, promising Xiao Yian he would protect her. He sent Butler Su to escort the chairman to the hospital, then rushed after Wang. At the car, Wang demanded Jing Yuan's vehicle. With a glance, Jing Yuan signaled his assistant to bring it over, while Xiao Yian secretly called Hanmi, telling her to track the car. As Wang dragged Xiao Yian inside, Jing Yuan reassured her. Don't be afraid, I'm here. She dropped her phone on the ground before the door shut. Picking it up, Jing Yuan heard Hanmi confirm the tracker was active. He muttered that he'd deal with Xiao Yin later, but quickly followed the signal to an abandoned building. Upstairs, he heard noises and rushed to save her. Wang, terrified of Jing Yuan, grew desperate and threatened Xiao Yin. She fought back, biting his hand, but he shoved her, making her hit her head hard against a wooden board. Consumed with hatred, Wang shouted that the Guo family had ruined him and pushed him to this breaking point. Wang tried to finish off the Guo bloodline, but Jing Yuan arrived just in time to shield Xiao Yin. Though injured, he carried her to the hospital as she fainted, calling out for her parents. By her bedside, he comforted her, insisting he never harmed them. Jing Yuan explained that the money Chen accused him of transferring abroad was actually sent to her father for her mother's treatment. He had even gone to Germany, hoping to reunite the family, but her father chose to protect them by staying away. From then on, Jing Yuan secretly guarded Xiao Yin, even after the accident, fearing she might become a target. Xiao Yin, shaken, asked why he would risk everything for her. Jing Yuan admitted that in the past he only wanted to make his father proud, but now he would rather be her protector even if others mocked him as the Guo family's dog. Touched but overwhelmed, Xiao Yin slipped out of the hospital and went to her parents' graves, regretting how she had misjudged him. Jing Yuan soon found her asleep at the cemetery, draped his coat over her, and gently wiped her tears when she woke. She confessed that after losing her parents, uncovering the truth had been her only purpose, but now all leads were gone. Jing Yuan comforted her, urging her to come home. That night, he carried her through the rain, admitting his mistakes and painful past, being abandoned, abused by a foster father, and bullied in the orphanage until the Guo family adopted him. Xiao Yin listened quietly, realizing how much suffering he had endured, while Jing Yuan reassured her that no matter how deep the pain, it would eventually pass. Jing Yuan encouraged Xiao Yin to stop living in the past and face life ahead. Back home, she apologized for worrying her grandfather, while Chong Feng privately scolded Jing Yuan for acting on his own. Jing Yuan suspected the car crash wasn't an accident, believing either Chen or Wang was behind it. Since the mastermind didn't want Xiao Yin's family to return and inherit Guof, Chong Feng urged him to continue investigating. Outside his room, Xiao Yin carefully bandaged her uncle's wounds, apologizing for hurting him earlier. Jing Yuan promised to uncover the truth if she promised not to act recklessly. Later, Xiao Yin confided in her best friend about wanting to return to Germany to find clues, though she feared her grandfather would refuse. The next morning, she told Jing Yuan about her dream of becoming a violinist and begged him to convince her grandfather. Jing Yuan suggested she could study music at the local conservatory with a German professor if needed, but Xiao Yin insisted she didn't belong here. Moved by her sincerity, he agreed to help. Overjoyed, she hugged him tightly, making him laugh at her persistence. At dinner, Xiao Yin tried to bring up studying abroad, but Chong Feng revealed his own plan, transferring her to a new school to study business and prepare to inherit Guof. Xiao Yin refused, explaining she only agreed before because she suspected Jing Yuan, but now that she knew the truth, she wanted to return to her music. Her grandfather firmly rejected the idea, believing she was safest by his side. Jing Yuan stepped in, saying he had already arranged her studies in Germany and someone to care for her there. He argued that Xiao Yin should live freely, and there would be time for inheritance later. Chong Feng disagreed, warning his granddaughter in private to test Jing Yuan's intentions. If her uncle truly had no hidden motives, he would willingly follow her abroad. Xiao Yin trusted her uncle as family, but Chong Feng reminded her that Jing Yuan carried no Guof blood and warned that human nature was the most dangerous thing of all. Meanwhile, Jing Yuan told Wangking he planned to go abroad with Xiao Yin. She assumed he wanted to clear his name while keeping power, but he confessed he had no such ambition. His toughest battles were already behind him. and he had fulfilled his promise of taking Wonking out of the orphanage. That night, Xiao Yian noticed her uncle had been drinking. Though he insisted it was only a little, she teased that lying would make his nose grow long. When her grandfather suddenly appeared, she quickly hid Jing Yuan behind a chair, nearly falling into his arms. Their close moment left her flustered, but Jing Yuan gently reminded her to stay quiet. Later, under the moonlight, Xiao Yian recalled watching the sky with her parents in Germany and wished her uncle would share those moments too. Jing Yuan revealed he was ready to resign and go with her, but she begged him not to compromise with her grandfather. Half joking, she told him to work hard and earn money so she could rely on him if the Guof family collapsed. Jing Yuan asked if she truly believed he wouldn't fight for Guof, and she assured him that if he were selfish, he wouldn't have risked his life to protect her. Deeply moved, Jing Yuan promised to stay by her side and even dreamed of attending her violin performance as her father once would have. He then took her to the orphanage where he grew up, now set for auction. His dream was to rebuild it into a community for children with schools, parks, and a large orphanage. Inspired, Xiao Yian added her own wish for a music center, and Jing Yuan promised they would make it happen together after the auction. But just as they were making plans, his assistant called with urgent news Guof was in crisis. Stock prices crashed while Chun Group soared, threatening to take over key land in the upcoming government auction. Xiao Yian convinced her grandfather to let Jing Yuan handle the situation. Back in her room, while packing for Germany, she received another update from Hanmi. German police had found the suspect's abandoned car, and cameras caught him walking away. Xiao Yian noticed that the cigarettes the suspect held matched the ones at the abandoned building. The next day, her grandfather struggled with the thought of letting her go, but encouraged her to chase her dreams, reminding her never to forget where home was. Meanwhile, Jing Yuan focused on stabilizing the company, staring out at the planes he wished he could board. Soon after, he attended the Roman 11 Jiang Entrepreneurs Charity Gala, where reporters questioned Chairman Chun about rumors of Guof's downfall. Chun denied everything, boasting of his confidence. Jing Yuan arrived with a sharp reply, quoting Chairman Guof, "Clean your own house before trying to clean the world." Then, to everyone's surprise, Xiao Yian stepped out of his car, declaring she would face the storm with her uncle. At the event, Xiao Yian noticed all eyes on Jing Yuan, and whispers spread that their family unity was just for show. When a jealous socialite tried to humiliate her by splashing water, she dodged quickly, though Jing Yuan wanted to intervene. Later, while enjoying pastries, Xiao Yian was suddenly blindfolded by a familiar warm voice. It was Zhu, the chairman's son, who confessed he didn't want family rivalries to ruin their connection. She dismissed the idea of any relationship, but their conversation was interrupted by a sorrowful violin piece. To Zhu, the melody spoke of love surviving even death. From across the room, Jing Yuan grew uneasy seeing his niece with another man. He warned her about gossip, but Xiao Yian brushed it off, reminding him he acted too much like an elder. When a friend challenged her to perform, Xiao Yian confidently accepted, introducing Guof as a model company devoted to charity. Inspired by her determination, Jing Yuan offered to accompany her on the piano. As his fingers danced across the keys and her violin filled the room, their music blended seamlessly, holding the entire audience captive. In that moment, Jing Yuan admired how fiercely Xiao Yian protected her dreams, unwilling to bend for anyone. The music ended to endless applause. Later at home, Jing Yuan pulled Xiao Yian aside, asking why she truly stayed in Roman 11 Jiang. She explained that just before leaving for Germany, Hanmi told her the police had found a suspect named Ling Fo, who had fled back to Roman 11 Jiang after the accident. Afraid her grandfather would stop her, she faked a stomachache and turned to Jing Yuan for help. She believed Wang Hai was connected to Ling Fo, since she remembered he didn't smoke. Yet the table in the abandoned building was covered with the same German cigarettes Ling used, cigarettes that weren't even sold in China. Jing Yuan urged her to hand over the case and stop investigating, but Xiao Yian refused, determined to find the truth about her parents' deaths. He made her promise never to act alone, warning she'd be sent back to Germany if she broke that rule. She playfully sealed it with a pinky swear, though he called it childish. After the charity gala, Guof's stock price climbed, but the rumors weren't spread by Qinsher, it was Hang Yao, the editor of Roman 11 Jiang Daily, who was working with Wonking. Over a bowl of wontons, Jing Yuan confronted Wonking, reminding her how they once dreamed as kids about owning a wonton stall. But now, he questioned why she fueled false rumors. She admitted she only wanted to keep him at Guof, afraid he would leave her behind. Jing Yuan told her he made his own decisions and warned that betraying the Guof family was his final line. Meanwhile, Xiao Yian caught Wang Hai's wife handing over Guof's bidding documents to a man with the same birthmark as Ling Fo. She quickly chased him while sending her uncle her location. Jing Yuan begged her not to act alone, but she followed Ling to the abandoned building, where he drugged her. By the time Jing Yuan arrived, he found only her earring on the ground and called the police. Xiao Yian awoke tied up, but with a shard of glass she had hidden, she began cutting the rope. Ling Fo confessed that he stole the model, planted the bomb that killed her parents, and now wanted to send her to join them. Just as he tried to stop her escape, Jing Yuan rushed in to save her. Ling admitted someone had hired him, but before revealing more, the fight ended. Outside, Xiao Yian was shaken, but relieved to reunite with her best friend Hanmi, who had returned earlier than expected and was welcomed warmly at Guof. Hanmi couldn't reach Xiao Yian, so she rushed to get Jing Yuan's help. Dragging Lin Roman 11 into the car, she sped off recklessly, leaving him terrified. Their bickering stopped only when Jing Yuan ordered everyone to calm down and go home. Later, Xiao Yian noticed a wound on her uncle's hand, but instead of answering, he scolded her for breaking her promise. She kept pestering him, insisting that she only acted because she couldn't let Ling Fo escape. Confidently, she added that no matter what, her uncle would always come to save her. Worried and angry, Jing Yuan warned her that she would be sent back to Germany in a few days. That night, he replayed every moment when Xiao Yian had been in danger, torn between anger and his weakness for her sweet words. When he entered his room, he found a stuffed pig with a hidden recorder inside. It squeaked out Xiao Yian's apology, asking him to give her another chance. For a moment, his heart softened. The next morning, Xiao Yian greeted him warmly, but he ignored her and slammed the door. At breakfast, she asked her grandfather if family should forgive each other, clearly upset. When she tried to catch a ride with Jing Yuan, he locked the door, only opening it to tell her again to return to Germany. He also warned her not to wander around since Ling Fo was still at large. To keep her in check, he took her phone, shared her location, and told her that leaving the marked areas meant immediate return to Germany. It was punishment, he said, for secretly tracking his car. Later, Xiao Yian vented to Hanmi about her strict uncle, and Hanmi teased that it was like coaxing a difficult CEO. Curious why Hanmi was at Lin Zai's place, Xiao Yian learned that he had offered her a spare room after she refused the hotel he booked. On the drive home, Jing Yuan heard a radio story about a man named Watermelon who bought up all taxi ad space just to apologize to Zilong Bio. When Jing Yuan opened the car door, he saw taxis everywhere covered with messages like, "Nai apologizes, Uncle Zilong Bio, please come back." Watermelon even bought a signboard just for him. Shocked, Jing Yuan asked Xiao Yian where she got the money, only to learn she had secretly used his credit card. She pleaded with him not to send her back to Germany, insisting it was her heartfelt apology. Amused, Jing Yuan teased her for becoming more cunning. Later, when he tried to book taxi ads himself, the company told him Watermelon had already renewed for another month, and they fully supported her devotion. Frustrated, Jing Yuan vented to the stuffed pig, but the more he replayed her recorded apology, the more he found himself laughing. Xiao Yian thought he was losing his mind. At breakfast, she couldn't bring herself to eat a bun shaped like Zilong Bio, while Jing Yuan casually ordered watermelon juice. Soon after, he asked permission from his father to take Xiao Yian to the land auction. Meanwhile, Ling Fong secretly sent Guof's documents to his boss and prepared to escape abroad. At the results announcement, the finalists were Xian Fei Group, Qinhe, and Guof. The organizers declared Qinhe the winner, but then revealed Guof also tied for first place. Qinhe had proposed a commercial hub, while Guof focused on a child-friendly residential project, something the city had never seen before. Since both had strengths and weaknesses, a second round of selection would be held. Later, Xiao Yian met Wang Qing, who explained that the committee doubted Guof's lack of experience in child-friendly projects. Xiao Yian proposed a solution but needed the design director's help. Wang Qing agreed only because of Jing Yuan, though Xiao Yian asked her to keep it secret from him. That night, Jing Yuan noticed his niece still working at the company. Curious, he learned from his assistant that she often visited Wang Qing's office. Instead of confronting her, he ordered late-night food for them. Soon after, Xiao Yian revealed her surprise, a detailed model of the child-friendly community she had built with Wang Qing's designs. To promote the child-friendly project, Xiao Yian suggested turning the press conference into a family experience day. She even dragged her uncle into the ball pit, teasing him about reliving his childhood. Surprised, Jing Yuan stumbled in and instinctively hugged her when they both fell. Their hearts raced as they landed together, and the closeness left them flustered. Xiao Yian quickly covered the moment, saying Wang Qing told her he loved ball pits as a child, and she didn't want him to grow up without fulfilling his dreams. Jing Yuan thanked her, admitting it made him feel like a more meaningful adult. She later gave him a doodled smiley face, begging not to be sent back to Germany. He couldn't resist her playful charm, and though he teased her, he secretly carried the smiley face everywhere. Back at the office, Xiao Yian presented her plan to make the event free, proving Guof valued both the economy and families. Jing Yuan admired her determination but reminded her to double-check safety measures. Just then, news broke that Ling Fong had been caught, but was in a coma after a failed escape. Jing Yuan comforted his niece, saying justice would come. On Family Day, kids explored the model community and played happily, until a group of children suddenly fell sick after eating cake. Parents panicked, demanding answers. Jing Yuan assured them all food was checked and rushed the children to the hospital, but the doctor reported the cakes had expired ingredients. Realizing sabotage, Jing Yuan vowed to take full responsibility. As if things weren't bad enough, Jing Yuan's estranged father, Hui, appeared on TV. He accused his son of abandoning his poor family, claiming he once stole and now used children to win bids. The shocking accusations turned public opinion against Jing Yuan. Memories of being beaten and blamed as the unwanted child came flooding back. When Jing Yuan finally faced his father, he coldly asked what he truly wanted.